Welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient, with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is a podcast producer and host. Please check out our social media pages for more information. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description to join. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a good day or don't, the choice is always yours.
Oh, good morning. I don't hate people. Are stupid people still people? Anyways, good morning, everybody. It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know Meth Dakota. It's the state just south of North Dakota, that Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota, until the queen of meth herself, Governor Kristi Noem, declared us all by proclamation on meth. Now we're all stuck with this weird stigma that for some reason they think, oh, everybody in South Dakota is just on meth. Well, I assure you, as libertarian as I am, I believe that gives me the choice and the freedom to put whatever I want in my body, and I personally choose not to consume meth. But, I mean, maybe Kristi does. I don't know. She says some things that make me go, maybe she is on meth. Maybe she is just one of the dumbest people in the history of the human species. Certainly, I mean, you know what's really sad and discouraging when you go to Kristi Noem's Facebook page is all the bootlickers they get in line. Oh, Kristi, you're such a great governor. You're the best governor in the history of governors. And if I could just live in South Dakota, I'd be so happy if I just lived under your reign. Listen, I live in South Dakota, and just so you guys know, she is the dumbest governor in all 50 states. I would put her up for the award and give a whole nominating speech as to why I believe she is, if not the, one of the dumbest people in this world. Certainly controlled, most likely has blackmail and dirt and shit that is on her for days to come that the deep state knows all about, and they control her. She's not her own individual person. She is insane. She is insane. Good morning to Reb Ryder of Rapid Fire Radio of, is it Fort Pierre, South Dakota? No, or is it Pierre? Either way, taking the fight to the capital. Good morning to you, sir. Today, I did remember to put the link in YouTube's description, so therefore those of you that may be watching on YouTube can join if you like. If you want to join on Facebook, there is a link in the description. I don't know why my feed's all choppy. That's weird. I've got a gigabyte up and a gigabyte down for internet speed. And I'm sitting here looking at myself doing Mr. Roboto on the Facebook feed right now. Very weird. Very weird. Let me check this real quick. Yeah, that's really weird that it's doing that right now. Like I said, I got the best internet you can get out here. Shouldn't be that throttled. Looks a little crazy. But either way, we're going to get to the stories. Hope it clears up. You guys can still hear me. This is an audio, broadcast first, visual second. I've always been that way in broadcasting. So we're going to start in my state here for our news stories today. And, I wanted to bring this to the front and center first and foremost in the morning because you just can't fix this kind of stupid. South Dakota Governor Noem, I think it should be required to say South Dakota Queen of Meth, vows to protect Mount Rushmore. Quote, "We won't stand for radical rewriting of history."
Rumors circulating on social media over a flag burning in Gettysburg National Cemetery July 4th weekend. And
Why
now
is
it's leading
why
to other
is
reports of demonstrations or counter protests.
oh man, we got to a earlier. We're gonna get to this news story here for some odd reason. This one keeps refreshing on me. All right, so let me restart this. South Dakota Governor Noam vows to protect Mount Rushmore, saying, "quote We won't stand for a radical rewriting of history." Okay. 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 Governor Noam could be the dumbest woman in the history of politics. Native Americans to protest against Trump visit to Mount Rushmore. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think the Native Americans here in South Dakota think about rewriting history? There's a name for this place that was before it was called Mount Rushmore. I'll leave it in the comments. We'll call it a contest today. The contest for the day is, what was Mount Rushmore before it was Mount Rushmore? What was the name of Mount Rushmore, before it was Mount Rushmore? And, because, I don't think we asked the Native Americans, hey, do you mind if we whitewash your history real quick and put up a bunch of Indian killers on a sacred mountain? Do you think that the Kristi Noem realizes our own history is literally a revisionist history? That we've literally taken and whitewashed history by putting Indian killers and, oh, by the way, all 4 of these, I don't get why she protects these guys. Kristi, listen, one day you're going to have to answer to this question. Why do you protect this? All 4 of these men, if they lived in South Dakota today, would be convicted felons under you. George Washington used cannabis. Thomas Jefferson used a form of cannabis almost similar to CBD. I believe he would use the edible version. So he's still consuming THC. Theodore Roosevelt also consumed cannabis, and so did Abraham Lincoln. In fact, George Washington grew it. Abraham Lincoln had it grown. Thomas Jefferson invented the device that helps cultivate hemp faster. Does this make any sense? Why she protects these guys? Like, if you protected, like, people like me who, would love to grow hemp and would love to use cannabis as my medicinal treatment instead of pills given to me by the VA. If you protected me the same way you protected this mountain here, which is really it's smaller in real life, folks, than you think. The picture makes you think it's huge. It's small. And trust me, ladies get disappointed. They're like, oh, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than that. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be. They talked a big game here in South Dakota. It's pretty little. So, I've been there. Now, again, we have literally whitewashed history and put up a capitalist society on a road that leads to this place. We literally rewrote history. So, to see the governor of Meth Dakota going in and saying that she vows to protect Mount Rushmore, saying we won't stand for radical rewriting of history, that's literally what our history is based about. It's rewriting history. And putting in a whitewashed version of history. I highly doubt that we're going to get the video for this. So, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem vowed to protect the famed Mount Rushmore amid campaign to take down statues across the country that has moved quickly from targeting monuments of Confederate generals to those of former presidents. The ones that owned slaves, the ones that killed Indians, the ones that weren't really as great of people as the revisionist governor would love you to believe, as the one that says that we're going to teach you a whitewashed version of history in our public education system. The message that actually goes against true history, the one that she forces your children to learn in the public education system, that reformed revisionist history. Saying, quote, this is no longer about equality. Noam told Fox and Friends on Wednesday. This is This is a radical rewriting of our history, and in South Dakota, we won't stand for it. And then she does a Donald Trump move. Not on my watch! You know, it's really stupid, folks. You can't fix this kind of stupid. This is again the definition of dumb. She's the definition of dumb. the Sultan of stupid. What other names can we give to this? Anyway, she's the queen of meth. So, either way, Native Americans to protest against Trump to visit Mount Rushmore. All right. Native American groups are planning to protest against Donald Trump visit to Mount Rushmore at the start of Independence Day weekend. Activists have long taken issue with South Dakota monument to the former U.S. president, which was built on land sacred to the Sioux tribe. Mr. Trump will bring fighter jets and fireworks to Mount Rushmore on July 3rd as his campaign tour continues. The controversial trip comes amid heightened racial tensions nationwide. Mount Rushmore features, alright, we're not going to give you all the details. The monument was carved into granite between 1927 and 1941. Alright, but the land the memorial lies on, the Black Hills of South Dakota, was taken from the indigenous Lakota Sioux by the U.S. government in the 1800s. Its sculptor was reportedly a white supremacist with ties to the Ku Klux Klan, which again, Mr. Reb Ryder here is already on history. Already on it. Some Native American activists say the land should be returned to the Sioux and the monument brought down. Others say indigenous groups should receive economic benefits from tourism to the site. Oglala Sioux president.
Rumors circulating on social media over a flag burning in Gettysburg.
I don't get why this freaking why does this keep doing this? Man, just knock it off there, video. We're going to get to the flag burning one. We're getting there. Don't worry. We're getting to the flag burning one. Technical difficulties, folks. So, let's see what our favorite Native president has to say. Oglala Sioux President Julian Bearrunner told the Argus Leader newspaper that Mr. Trump did not consult with tribal leaders about his visits. Yes, because Donald J. Trump does not give a fuck about Native Americans. In fact, he wants his face on Mount Rushmore. Make no mistake about it. I guarantee you. We've already seen the jokes. Listen, folks. I've already seen the jokes. Listen, we're going to go back up to the picture real quick. You ready for this? You ready for this? Look, there's already hair there. We're going to put Trump's face right here. You can already see the hairline. It's right there. In fact, I'll bet you he'd even say he wants this massive spot right here. It's going to be huge. It's huge. So, again, of course, Donald J. Trump does not care about Native Americans. Make no mistake about it. You would be dumb to think he does. You'd be dumb to think he does. Another tribe member and local activist Nick Tilson, told the Associated Press the monument is, quote, a symbol of white supremacy, of structural racism that is still alive and well in society today. Quote, it's an injustice to actively steal indigenous people's land, then carve the white faces of the conquerors who committed genocide. Dun, dun, dun. So, as I scanned through this here real quick, that was pretty much the meat and potatoes of the story there. But, again, so Governor Noem says that they're going to protect, quote, the rewriting of history here at Mount Rushmore. And, it just, like I said, it's crazy hypocrisy to me that our whole history is based on rewriting history. And now what we're seeing is there's a new divide, a new way of thinking that says, well, if you wrote the history by rewriting history, well, why can't we rewrite history? Now, I fall on the side that the United States government has failed in its fiduciary obligations and has all but violated every portion of every treaty ever written between a state government, a federal government, and a sovereign native nation. Pick your favorite native nation, insert native tribe here. They've all done fucked up their fiduciary obligations and literally turned reservations into third world countries here on U.S. soil. Make no mistake about it. So I find it hilarious, and I would even go as far as to say Governor Kristi Noem does not know history. I would go as far as to say, does she really even know what she's protecting, other than she goes, I mean, because that's federal land. That's not South Dakota land. That's federal land. That's not owned by the state. They just benefit from the tourism. So at what point are we sitting here going, well, history, CJ, is written by the winners. Yeah. Well, you know what that kind of speak does? It causes a civil war. It causes people to go, okay, well, this land doesn't really belong to the U.S. government. It should be belonging to the Lakota Sioux. And yeah, of course, I would agree they should protest. Absolutely. In fact, Native Americans are some of the most abused people in this country, and they are still some of the most peaceful protesters. Standing Rock was all agitation. Standing Rock was done in defiance of the pipeline, but was definitely one of those things where it was essentially done as a way to, peacefully protest the pipeline, and then agitators come in and make it escalate, and guess what? That's what happened. But, if history's written by the victors, if history really is written by the victors, Kristi Noem is going to see that she's protecting revisionist history already. Make no mistake about it. All right. So, real quick, one last South Dakota story before we go. South Dakota sees first case of multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome. MIS. What is this MIS that I apparently have no idea what this is? This is a new little invisible enemy. This is a new little thing that we should all be worried about. We should all worry about MIS. What is MIS? All right, so real quick, the caption says this 2020 electron microscope made available by the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Image shows the spherical coronavirus particles from the first U.S. case of COVID-19 on Monday, May 4th, 2020. New York City health authorities issued an alert to doctors about a severe inflammatory condition possibly linked with COVID-19 has been found in cluster of U.S. children in New York City after first being reported in Europe. On Wednesday, New York said 64 potential cases have been reported to the state. Fever, abdomen pain, and skin rashes are common symptoms of the unnamed condition, which they just called MIS. They literally just called it MIS. Anyways. Pierce, South Dakota, the South Dakota Department of Health announced South Dakota has its first case of multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome. State epidemiologist Dr. Josh Clayton said the person is under the age of 18 and located in East River, South Dakota. Well, as the East River coordinator, welcome to South Dakota. Clayton said at this time DOJ officials are working to protect the identity. Here we go again.
Rumors circulating on social media over a flag burning in Gettysburg National Cemetery July 4th weekend.
Yeah, I keep teasing this story because this thing keeps on playing. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute this site for all obvious reasons. But we're going to get to the flag burning story. Make no mistake about it. So real quick, we're going to skim through this one. Let's go ahead. According to the CDC, Missy. That's what we're going to say. It's called Missy. We got COVID and we got Missy. Is where different body parts become inflamed, such as heart, lungs, kidney, brain, skin, eyes, or gastrointestinal organs. So, we got something else to worry about here, folks. We've got something bigger than just the COVID-19 scare. So, all right. Well, we're going to get to this Gettysburg story here since it decided that it was just going to keep popping up. So here we go. Gettysburg officials say they're aware of a social media rumor of a flag burning at National Park July 1st. Bora, I don't know, and regional police departments as well as National Military Park Rangers say they are monitoring the situation and will take appropriate safety measures. Let's just go ahead and listen to this lady who's interrupted me multiple times here real quick this morning and see what this is all about.
And now it's leading to other reports of demonstrations or counter-protest. Fox 43's Jamie Bittner is in Adams County as police are working to separate fact from fiction.
Online information can spread like wildfire.
This is a very conservative estimate that we're getting dozens and dozens and dozens of calls daily from folks that are concerned about this.
And Gettysburg police in the national park want everyone to know they hear you as the rumor mill churns of a flag burning ceremony July 4th weekend.
Everything that's been swirling around on social media with the possible flag burning by the group Left Behind.
Left Behind USA is the group many of the posts are mentioning, but many accounts and other posts are now blocked or don't exist. So is it based in fact or fiction?
Well, that's the funny thing about rumors. We don't know, so we're taking it seriously.
I can't say with 100% certainty one way or the other, and that's why I'm not willing to make that comment that it's real or not real.
This is where that rumored flag burning is supposed to take place in the National Cemetery at the park, but that rumor has given rise to other rumors, including demonstrations and counter-protests.
What's being circulated on social media right now is being purported as a peaceful demonstration, and that's what we hope it would be if it even materializes.
Either way, officials say they're planning for people on both sides to show.
If Group A shows, then it's likely that Group B shows. If Group A doesn't show, Group B is still likely to show.
There will be folks here that want to help, or what they vision is help protect the national park. There'll be folks here who are going to come even if it is a trolling post because they're not sure it was a trolling post. We are going to plan for if it's real.
But people in Gettysburg say all they want is for everyone to come out and have a good time.
We want people from different backgrounds to come here, feel comfortable, and appreciate that history.
Meantime, anyone who causes trouble will bear the weight of local, state, and federal investigators who will all be watching.
We're going to be at the top of our game.
I am here to keep the people of this borough safe, and that includes the visitors, and I'm going to do my darndest to make sure that happens.
Okay. Okay. You know, if Group A shows up, Group B shows up, and vice versa, you know. So, I mean, at Gettysburg, of all places, if Group A shows up, Group B is going to show up, and I bet you that was the rumor back when back when the Gettysburg battle took place, just days before, just weeks before. There's rumor that there's gonna be a battle here. Maybe, who knows? If Group A shows up, Group B is gonna show up. And what was funny about this is that they will bear the wrath of police and sheriff investigators. Like, is there really, like, I don't get the wrath. Like, what's the wrath gonna be? Like, we're gonna investigate you more, and then we're gonna investigate even further. I don't get it. So that's just since that lady decided to interrupt me real quick, I figured I should let everybody know. We're gonna go to our old good friend Alphabet here real quick for a moment, and we're gonna say Johnson versus Texas, 1989.
According to Britannica, Johnson, legal case in which the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on June 21, 1989, that the burning of the U.S. flag is a protected form of speech under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
All right, I'm not going to go any further than that, But if you just do the same thing I just did right there, you're going to find out that burning a flag is protected free speech under the Constitution. So as long as you're not hurting any individual, don't get me wrong, hurting feelings, and believe me, I get into so many arguments with flag worshipers over this. And it's like, listen, if you want to know how I know you're indoctrinated, you'll just start defending your flag blindly because you have no clue about its actual history. But, again, it is a protected way to protest. It is your free speech to do so. Make no mistake about it. It will be something that, again, people will be upset. But again, your feelings getting hurt, and this is where it blows my mind, because most of these people that get upset at this kind of stuff are Trumplicans. That's literally who gets mad at this flag burning stuff, because again, they turn into Karens. Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'll go assault somebody. If I see somebody stepping on a flag, I'm going to go insult somebody. I'm going to go assault somebody, and I'm going to become a felon, and then my rights are gone. See, do you see how this logic, this kind of stupid, does it ever end? Honestly? I mean, I sit here day in, day out. It doesn't matter how many people are watching. It doesn't matter, any of the bullshit that you see on social media. I don't take it personal when people don't understand their history and they attack me for that. It just, I feel pity for them. I actually look down on them. And I do wish that, and I try not to get to the whole point like, you're just a fucking idiot. I try not to get to that point. I try to give them the evidence of why I'm saying what I'm saying, based in law, based on Supreme Court or state Supreme Court rulings and information. And I mean, if I interject my opinion, I make sure to say, no, this is my opinion. Like, I would say, okay, well, I don't agree with this law, but this is my opinion. But you can't sit there and go, well, CJ, if I want to burn the flag, if somebody burns the flag, I'm going to assault them, I'm going to beat them, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And I go, listen, if you do that to somebody that's burning the flag and they aren't hurting you, they aren't hurting anybody, it's your feelings are hurt. I get that. I get that your feelings are hurt. Good morning, Indiana Grandma. I get that your feelings are hurt when you see the flag burning. But at the end of the day, that is protected free speech. And so for somebody like me that took an oath to support and defend the Constitution, I don't understand where the disconnect is with people to say, well, it is a protected First Amendment right. And while, again, that's the fact. Now, here's my opinion. While I personally have said, yeah, I'll burn the fucking flag, this government has violated my rights left, right, center, up, down, backwards, forwards. But I come to a point where I'm like, does it actually really solve anything? And the answer is no. So instead of just burning it out of anger and just pissing people off, I had friends and family that came to me and said, there's another way to do this, CJ. There's another way to protest your government. Your battle's not over. You don't need to do it this way. We understand you were emotional. We understand that you've had your rights violated. It's been over 6 years since I've seen my daughter today. Do I want to burn the flag? There might be a day in my life. You guys, it might not even be live. I might not video it. I might just burn one just to burn one. It's my right. You could never stop me. But I'm not going to worship your flag. I'm not going to stand for your special song. I am not going to participate in your mass propaganda, rewriting, revisionist history of garbage and bullshit. This country made me stop loving this country. The American people made me stop thinking that we're a great country. We're not. We're a bunch of fucking people running around here on the internet going, oh, this is my opinion. And somebody like me who's like, when I was younger, I want to put brass tacks to my words. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'll still be that way. When I say I'm going to go to Florida, when I say I'm going to go to Standing Rock, when I say I'm going to go to this protest, that protest, when I say I'm going places, I'm going places. Whether you agree with me on the other end, watch me on the other end, how many viewers I have is irrelevant. I'm going to go to the places and do the things I say I'm going to do. Now, if I need to change my direction, my opinion, my thought, I will. And if I need to make a correction on my reasoning and logic, then I'll do it. Just like burning the flag. I don't think it was the right... I think while I agree I was emotional, I just don't think that it was the time to do something like that. I hadn't fully realized that there's still other ways to protest. And I do believe, in my opinion, flag burning should be one of the last resources of your form of protest against a government that does not care about your rights. But if we take away that ability, see, like, I always say this, when I was saying I was going to burn the flag, people kept going, oh, you're a piece of shit. Do you think that actually makes me go, huh, I'm the piece of shit here? No, it entrenches me further. This government violated my constitutional rights, and I learned how to articulate it better than most people ever could. To the point where I even ran for governor on the fact that I can articulate so fucking good how this government is violating not only
Rumors circulating on social media.
Why
over
does
a
it keep
flag
doing
burning
this?
in Gettysburg National Cemetery July 4th weekend, and now it's leading to...
All right, I don't know why it keeps doing that. We're just gonna delete the whole freaking thing. Kind of got a theme there. Maybe it's telling me something. But do I support the flag burning? Yes. And I support it for people that have had their rights so far violated, and they have tried to peacefully redress their grievance. They've had their right to assemble. They have assembled, they have redressed their grievance, and this government has said, nope, you're still slaves. We're still going to abuse you the same way. We're still going to do the things that we did to you to other people. And then if the people want to collect in mass and burn the flag, that's their right. And you know what? Those people, they're like, oh, you burned my magic sky cloth, I'm coming for you. You guys aren't actually helping. Why not take the approach of, wait a minute, why do you want to burn the flag? Instead of, you're missing a step here, folks, when you get angry at a flag burn. Because you're not seeing it from the empathetic point of what got them to that point to begin with. At some point, we were all somebody's baby boy, baby girl, baby they. At some point, we were all little bundles of joy to somebody. Do you think we all just grow up and go, we're burning the flag? No. Why are you burning the flag? That should be the first question asked to everyone that ever says that I'd burn the flag. Well, why? Because this government did XYZ. I feel voiceless. I feel powerless. I'm not, my grievance isn't being redressed appropriately. And when it is redressed, it falls on deaf ears. So if you don't protect flag burning, I often say this, well, why shouldn't people be allowed to burn the flag? Because it hurts my feelings. Well, Democrats say you owning guns hurts their feelings. Should we take away your guns because it hurts Democrats' feelings? Oh, they're just a bunch of snowflakes. You guys are stupid. Literally. The definition of dumb. The Sultan of stupid. The Swami of stupidity, yeah. Either way. Why not ask why? Why not ask somebody and go, hey man, have you really, because that's what happened to me. Hey man, do you really think you've protested every form of which way you could before saying you're going to burn the flag? Have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing that? Have you tried talking to this person? Have you gone here? Have you done that? Did you do this? A little accountability. Yes, burning the flag is a decision that should be not taken lightly. And it should be done, in my opinion, like I said, as the final redress of grievance. And again, to separate the to make sure that again you've covered all your bases. But again, if a government violates somebody's rights, and the first thing somebody wants to do is burn the flag, I don't blame them either. Why are we allowing a government to violate people's rights to begin with? Why are we defending that? All of you people that worship the magic sky cloth don't even realize disrespect when you see it to the flag. You're a bunch of hypocrites, and that's what we're going to explain when we get into the next story here. So, but first and foremost, we're going to get into one little roundup from yesterday and the day before. We've been covering here NASCAR's Bubba Wallace releases images. NASCAR releases images of news found in Bubba Wallace's garage at Talladega. Now, people are comparing him to Jesse Smollett. I made fun of him, like, dude, come on, man, you don't even know the difference between a pull down and a noose. Like, I was quick to go, hey, man, could be the Jesse Smollett of NASCAR. You never know. I know my brother's a big NASCAR fan. I talked to him in a text. He said he thinks NASCAR blew it all up out of proportion, and I agree with him in that case. It was definitely blown out of proportion. We're not going to read the backstory. I just want to get right to this. This is the picture of the actual famed noose that everybody is discussing. And to be perfectly honest, it's a noose. I'll give it to him. I'm going to give him that this is a noose. And he even admitted, he said it's not functional. It's not a functional noose, but it is in the shape and form of a noose. And yes, I'm going to have to give it to Bubba Wallace that is a picture of a noose. Now, we were all seeing other images floating around of other garage door pulls that were similar and whatnot, but this is actually the official photo from NASCAR. And yeah, that's a noose. But it's not there to hang people. It's not a functional noose. It's not a hate crime. It took how many FBI agents when we live in a world where can't you just go, hey, FBI, is that a hate crime? Why did it have to be that many investigating people for that? That, I think, was overkill. But again, I'm going to give it to Bubba Wallace that yes, he was correct when he said this is this is a noose, albeit not functional. And again, that's why I left mine for speculation. I mean, again, I would think and hope a NASCAR driver would know the difference between a door pull down and a noose. But yeah, it's in the shape of a noose, but that's just conducive for that is literally, well, you got garage doors, you need to get a sure grip, you need to make sure you pull that thing down. I'm going to give it that is, well, again, a noose has, I guess, multiple functions. Functional and not. A functional noose for killing people, lynching them, yes, that's one form of using a noose. The other form being a non-functional noose that can be used for a pull down. So I'm gonna give it to him. And again, I use the thing that when we did this on Adam versus the Man, we used a question mark. The Jesse Smollett of NASCAR. I mean, take it how you want. But I think where we agree as libertarians is it shouldn't have taken this much to investigate using the FBI for this matter. But that is the official noose right there. And like I said, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give him that it's in the shape of a noose. It's a non-functional noose, as he said. And again, good luck, Mr. Bubba Wallace, on your next race. So, what a day. We're getting through the headlines again. If you just want to if you're just tuning in and you want to join, you're more than welcome to click the link in the description. And yes, I did remember it on YouTube today, if you just so happen to be watching on YouTube. Now, this is where, again, we're going to go because it's just so much fun. It really is. I hope to one day meet this man. Most likely, unlikely, probably never going to happen. But report multiple teams interested in signing quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Oh, man. Okay, so you want to talk about the wheelhouse for the stupid? You talk about burning the flag, Kaepernick getting signed. You talk about, I mean, I promise you, I could spend hours just railing on the Trumplican people that again, who blindly just stay in their ignorant version of history. And, whether it's Dan Bongino, who went on, and again, Dan Bongino has not responded to his over criticism of Brett Favre. Of course, because I'm just a peon nobody broadcaster out here in the middle of North Dakota. He'd look at my page and go, this guy, yeah, no, I don't need to address him. But, that is a mistake in history. And people are going to learn that judging people based on that as some kind of legitimate criteria for legitimacy is all but it's irrelevant. I've watched people get numbers on social medias go up, go down, left and right, and some people take it different ways. I actually prefer a humble little audience. I talk better when I know there's less people. I actually speak more honestly when I know there's less people, because I don't feel nervous. I don't feel like I have to really censor myself because I'm worried about hurting people's feelings. Any of those issues, I feel like I'm more able to be expressive and articulate. Now, speaking of another form of protest, it's peaceful and protected free speech. Now, whether you agree that it's protected free speech during his job is another issue. I happen to think it is. I think protesting while at your work is a risk to losing your job. Therefore, you're putting your life, your career, your way of living, your income, all on the line for a cause. So yes, I agree that it is it should be a protected form of protest. In fact, I would go as far as to say that employers should be held accountable when they do discriminate against people protesting, especially when done in peacefulness. When it's done in peaceful protest, it should be protected free speech. Did you turn that all the way down? Oh, thank you so much. Good morning to you. Huh? What, you gonna work on our house? A water house. Cool. Aubrey's finally got me playing Minecraft with her. We built a house and a water fountain and a animal pen and although I had a lot of trouble with the lava and the water, and Aubrey fixed it and made it all better. Aubrey knows more about Minecraft than I do. But anyways, back to the story at hand, Mr. Colin Kaepernick here. I've been saying the whole time that his protest is legitimate and honest, and she definitely does want cereal, and she would like to obviously feed the fish. We do that after this, so she's got her little routine, and then I got mine, and we meet in the middle, and we get her and the fish fed. Don't worry, they get fed. Now again, back to this guy. His protest has been legitimate, honest protest, and he did lose his career, his life, his earnings, for at least the time being. Was criticized by at least half of the two-party duopoly think tank. That again is just, it's stupid. It's because again, they just, I put it to you this way: every Trumplican out there is just a little racist. Make no mistake about it. You dig a little deep enough, and you're gonna see their racist bone come out at some point. It's obvious to any of us that know. So, could Colin Kaepernick return? Be as few as a couple weeks away? Ooh, couple weeks away. This is gonna piss off so many Trumplicans. I'm gonna stop watching football. Damn it! I haven't watched in 4 seasons, 5 seasons. Maybe you take the next 4 or 5 off, and I'm going to go back to watching some football, get my head out of this all bullshit, and just enjoy myself a nice Sunday on the couch, cook up some great food, have friends and family over, watch some big games, and enjoy that day as a day of rest and relaxation and some football again. Maybe I'll go back to watching. And I've already said, if he signs with the Seahawks, I will watch a Seahawks game for the first time in 4 seasons, going on 5 seasons now. Again, Let me bring it over here. I'll even tell you this. I'll buy a Colin Kaepernick jersey and wear it on this show if Colin Kaepernick signs with the Seattle Seahawks. I give you my word that I will buy a Colin Kaepernick jersey and wear it on this broadcast if he signs with the Seattle Seahawks. So, now, again, we're not going to get into all the meat and potatoes, but, am I saying Colin Kaepernick is the greatest quarterback in the history of quarterbacks? No, I'm not. Is he a good quarterback? Yeah, he's fast as fuck. He literally single-handedly exposed the option run game. And every team from him to Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, all these people, they owe it to exposing of the run game by a quarterback to him. Make no mistake about it. He is on the Mount Rushmore of option quarterbacks, whether you like him or not. So, again, Dan Bongino didn't apologize to the guy. Sat there and went off on Brett Favre. Didn't apologize to him, saying, hey, I got your comparison to Pat Tillman wrong. What Brett Favre, Dan, was saying, and I'm on Parler, by the way. I want to make sure this is known. I doubt it's going to go anywhere. It's one of those things you create and you go, okay, well, maybe just maybe it might go somewhere, So, I am on Parler now. You can find me over there. The only person I am following is Mr. Dan Bongino. My first, so I mean, I'm gonna see what it does. I mean, it's not like I'm expecting to get instant famous on Parler, but I listened to Dan going, all right, well, Facebook and YouTube, all these places are censoring. Come over to Parler. So far, like I said, I haven't really put much into it, so I'm not judging it yet. But I did have some issues with it where you have to always log in and get a text message and verify your login. I think that's quite annoying. I wish I could opt out of that. You can't go live on it. It's just for your comments. The phone application doesn't let you upload photos properly. So there's still some bugs to work out for Parler. And as a software engineer, I know that with all beginning of things, there's a period where bugs happen, developer issues. So I'm not going to judge the app just yet. I'm going to actually give it its shot because, again, I think that there should be alternatives to free speech or for free speech. And when one is being censored, so be it. So that leads us to another story then. And that is Parler surges as conservatives, big tech censorship's victims, seek social media alternative. And as a conservative libertarian, not going to lie, I have been more than shadow banned, more than censored on both YouTube and Facebook, and especially when I was running for governor of South Dakota, I could tell you, there were people like, CJ, it makes your page, it unfollows me. I have to actually know that you're broadcasting that day, and it doesn't push a notification out to me. And so I get it. These are all issues that I know and experience. So that's why, again, I just talk. I don't worry about what the number on the screen says because I know I could have 5,000 friends and nobody's getting the push notification. Nobody's saying, hey, that guy that you wanted to see his content is live right now. Do you want to watch it live? They don't do that. They don't do it. I mean, some of you might get it. Maybe some of you have clicked see first on my Facebook, and I appreciate that. But this is the truth. There is a huge censorship, and so that's where, again, Dan Bongino convinced me. Okay, well, you guys say that you're all about not censoring, so what happens when people of differing opinions start to come on? Or is this just going to be the echo chamber of the conservative GOP? I mean, that's pretty much what I'm trying to ask here. So, I mean, as I decide to put more into it, I will, and we'll get there. But back to again the bigger story here, because again it just seems to be that kind of day. I don't know why it's doing this either, but oh well. LeBron James says the NFL needs to apologize to Colin Kaepernick. What? Oh my gosh, go figure. The big LeBron James out there is saying that, hey, y'all fucked up. Go apologize to him. Make it right. Make it right. Now, granted, again, this is going to piss off a bunch of the Trumpicans, and again, I don't really care. But, again, at the end of the day, over the last few weeks, the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell have apologized on more than one occasion for not supporting their players in their peaceful protests against police brutality. Again, just think, if we would have gone back to 2016 and just said, "Hey, Colin, what are you doing? Police brutality? Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about that." If we would have actually redressed this grievance differently, maybe we wouldn't be where we're at today. You never know. But they still have not apologized directly to Colin Kaepernick, the player that started the peaceful protests and hasn't been able to land a job in the NFL since he began protesting. Because of that, there have been a choir of voices railing against the NFL and calling on the league to apologize directly to Kaepernick and give him a job back. Now, this is where, again, I'm not going to say they should give him the job. Like, here, pick what team you want to go to, buddy, and you're the starter. I don't agree with that at all. I think teams should be able to look at it and go, we need a backup or we need a starter. Let him try out. Let him compete. That's all I'm saying. Let him compete. Now, there people would say, oh, well, he had the opportunity. He could have done this. He could have done that. He could have went to the media. Yeah, Kaepernick knew exactly what that was, though. He knew exactly what that was, and he turned it on their asses, and he exposed them again. So anyways, Carolina Panthers coach Matt Rule considering kneeling during the national anthem. Uh-oh. It's not just players anymore. It's coaches. Well, shit. Now what? See, the problem with peaceful protesting, and I've said this, I've said this before. The problem with peaceful protesting is it's contagious. When you're not the one being violent and aggressive and angry and hostile, it's contagious. Because people see it and go, okay, but he's being peaceful. Why are they angry? They're the ones that are angry. They're angry that he's bringing something up. They're angry that he's saying this or he's saying that, but they're mad at his symbolic peaceful action in peaceful protest. We get that. But what if he was actually legitimately right? What if he was actually saying things that are actually worth your time to listen to say, hey, maybe we should hear this guy out. Maybe we should take the time to say, hey, what are you talking about? And why are you feeling this way? And why do you feel the need to protest in this manner? Same with flag burning. But when you're doing it peacefully, it's contagious. Make no mistake about it. To the point where now we have an NFL coach. The special song means nothing. If you're playing the national anthem, it's sad because most people aren't going to hear me say this, and it's something that's been stewing in my brain for a minute. In my mind, I imagine it like this. Imagine it like this. It's the Super Bowl. Everybody's standing up for the special song. Oh, say, can you see? And in the background, everybody's all joyous. It's being televised all over the world, at every part of the globe. Every country's watching. And outside the stadium is an endless police brutality scene. A war between people and police, riots, shootings, just death and destruction. Your special song means nothing. Your magic sky cloth being dragged out horizontally to the deck in an actual Title IV USC 8 Section C disrespect to the flag action. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. If there's even one injustice out there, and you have a stadium filled with ignorant people, it's a sign of apathy. It's a sign that, yes, you give them bread and circuses, and they won't care about injustices. And it's just, to me, it's as clear as day. I don't understand why it's so hard for me to get my message out and to say, hey, I'm not wrong when I'm saying that this is why this is happening. This is why I believe the way I believe. You can get mad at me all you want. You can say things like, oh, you're a traitor to this country. It's like, I've been to 2 wars. I earned a Purple Heart. Why am I the traitor? Where did in this am I the traitor? Because I'm pointing out things that hurt your feelings? Because I won't live in your regurgitative, rewritten, revisionist history narrative? Because I'm actually honest about the crimes I see the government committing against we the people? I'm not a popular guy by any stretch of the imagination, never claimed to be. I've got plenty of friends. I got people that'll help me out in a moment's notice. I've got family that I care about and they care about me, so I don't need your fake internet adulation. But I tell you, be afraid of the person that's not afraid of the view count. Your comment is not going to hurt me in the way that you think it will. It encourages me to say, okay, fine, I don't have your viewers level. I'm not Dan fucking Bongino. I'm not Joe fucking Rogan. I'm CJ Abernathy. And I'm still proud to be who I am. And I am at this point in my life where I don't care what people say about me. You can talk all the shit you want about me. You can be but none of you show up. This is like, if I show up, Group B doesn't even show up. From the Gettysburg story. Well, if Group A shows up, Group B's going to show up. Well, here I am. I'm Group A. Where you at, Group B? I put the link in the description. Every broadcast, I'm running for public office. And you all are too afraid to show up. Well, we'll just pretend and ignore him and he doesn't exist. He's got a low viewer count. And that's your downfall. Because one day I'm going to show up where you're at. Oh, pull up, CJ, pull up! I'm going to show up peacefully, and I'm going to redress my grievance publicly. I'm going to do the opposite of what you expect me to do, because in your mind, you're just filled with anger, when all I'm filled with is passion and love for my country, just to be able to peacefully redress my grievance. And when I do so, and I'm done, I'll walk off. I carry a gun. You better realize that. I carry a gun. I'm not one of these liberals that walks around with no gun and then thinks I can be violent. No. I walk around with a gun, not violent, just wishing a motherfucker would. I promise you, the Marine Corps taught me how to escalate force appropriately, not only in combat situations, but in real life. So, of course I'm going to pull up. I'm going to drive right to where I need to. I'm going to get out. I can legally conceal carry a weapon. You think I'm afraid? I'm not. And that's the problem with a bunch of these Trumplicans. I'm not a liberal. I am not your average soy boy cuck. No, I guarantee you. I guarantee you I will pull up. I'll drive my 2014 Chevy Silverado right to where it matters. The problem with the Trumplican mindset that really is, again, another reason why I disconnected from this bullshit matrix narrative that they live in. The red pill and the blue pill are the same pill, folks. You just don't realize it. It's the same pill. It is the illusion of choice. In this race, there are only two choices. There are not three. You either stay with the same or you get something new. You get the same, you get people that are never going to protect your rights and interests. They are their own entity. They do what they want. They are autonomous and above the law from you, the actions they commit against you. Or you get this option, which is actual freedom, your own autonomy, your own ability to self-govern, and to have a representative that will speak on behalf of you. Not on behalf of corporations and government interests, but on behalf of people and their rights and their interests. It blows my mind though, because we sit here and we go, I just want a candidate that's going to fit my narrative. You say one wrong thing, CJ, I'm out the door. That's why I leave the link. That's why this is called Coffee and a Conversation, and it's one-sided. When Group B is too cowardice to show up, and I'm just sitting here going, hey, I'm saying everything I want, unopposed, with nobody here to say, fuck you, CJ, other than in some comment thread distant on somebody else's irrelevant Facebook page. Facebook, I have had more conversation on Facebook threads where people have said, you're stupid. It's just that one like that I get that goes, psh, I like what you said there, CJ. I could have a whole list of 100 comments of fuck you, CJ. But if I got that one like, that's all I care about. At least there's one person out there that's like, no, I hear you, CJ. I got you. And that's why I said, whether I'm watched by 0 people, 2 people, or I had everybody in the world watching me at the same time, I'm still the same CJ Abernathy. I will always be the same CJ Abernathy. And if that intimidates you, it's obvious to me nobody pushes the button. Group B's not showing up. I sit here and beg. I beg you, please click the button today. Be the day that a Trumplican comes on and actually defends Donald Trump to me. Allow me. See, this is what happened. Before, when it was Coffee and a Conversation, it was just me sitting at a kitchen table. I couldn't just sit here and go, hey guys, here's my example news article proving my point, and here's now my 15-minute explanation of why I think what I think. I couldn't do that before. I can do that now. I can take videos and throw them on the screen instantly. I can take guests in live time and say, hey, this platform is just as much your platform as it is my platform. Which is a beautiful thing, because there are people out there that are like, CJ, I like watching your videos after the fact, but I can't talk like you. And so I just listen after I'm at work and you've done your morning broadcast. About 11 o'clock, I tune in and I listen and then I message you in a little comment and I give you my thought back for the day. Well, guess what? I appreciate that, because again, that's all that matters to me. Like I said, I've got friends. I've got family. I'm taken care of. I eat well. I sleep well. I am making a life for myself that I am not afraid to live. Now, do I have my issues? Sure, of course. Everybody does. Everybody does, and I am no different. I am infallible. I am just as much aggrieved by this government. I am not just a government bootlicking sycophant. I'm an honest person. I'm a human being, goddammit, and my life matters. I'm angry and I'm not gonna put up with it anymore. I care. I care about those that I care about. Make no mistake about it. All right, enough on that subject. We're gonna try to get through a little more headlines, just to get round off the day here. All right. from sarahcarter.com. And again, if you want to see me actually give the president some credit, if you want to actually have me look at this camera and go, all right, Donald Trump did the right thing, this is your one opportunity. Roger Stone praying fervently for Trump to commute his sentence and or pardon him. Now, I'm telling you right now, I have never met Mr. Roger Stone here. I have been a admirer of his political speak for a while, even though I disagree with him on some political topics. I again, like anybody else, we can always disagree. But I respect the man's craft, and I respect his consistency and how he has stayed that consistent over time, whether that be as a Republican supporter of Donald Trump or just a friend of Donald Trump. Roger Stone did nothing wrong. It was a trap set. There is evidence everywhere. When you dig into it enough, you too will realize that Roger Stone did nothing wrong. Listen, the same way I leave my link open for anybody to come on here. You can be emailed. You can click a link and go, oh, who's this right here? And now all of a sudden you're guilty? You can talk to people. Since when is talking to anybody a crime? So again, he did nothing wrong. I've watched the depositions. I've watched as much as content as you can possibly get on Roger Stone. And I assure you, that man did nothing wrong. So if you want to see this guy give the President of the United States any credibility whatsoever, pardon Roger Stone, and then we'll talk. So, let's see here. Washington's... man, I'll tell you what. This shit. Alright, well, I was going to go to a story here. Maybe I'm going to have to find a different story on it to get it pulled up. This just goes to show that not everybody agrees that this coronavirus bullshit is the way it should be. Sheriff says don't be a sheep. All right, here we go. We'll just go with this one. All right. Oh, they even have a video for it. Sweet. Now, CJ, are there good law enforcement officers out there? Listen, you've said defund the police, behead all bad officers. You've literally said bad cops should go to the guillotine and be publicly executed. Yes, I have said all those words. And I have made it very clear that yes. Hey, okay, real quick. I was thinking about this morning. Let's do this test. Let's do this as a test. I'm going to say a phrase, and then in your mind, I want you just to think about what the first words are that come to your mind. The only good communist is a... Alright, so now that we've covered that, and everybody's already in your mind, you've finished the sentence for me. I have never once said defund your local county sheriff or abolish your county sheriff, because your county sheriff is elected. Your county sheriff is accountable to the people of your jurisdiction. And I have even told my own county sheriff that he is more powerful than the entire federal government on any given day. Because I am studied and versed in history. Mr. Lee, I'm gonna help you out real quick. It's not bad communist. The answer is dead communist. The only good communist is a dead communist. If you, I know you know. So, anyways, I've never once said abolish your county sheriff. I've never once, in fact, I've made it actually clear that it's the county sheriffs that are the ones, and we've seen on countless occasions that there's more good county sheriffs and county sheriff's deputies, given that I would say, if you had to say, CJ, all right, let's stop saying police, because there's no cops, police, and then sheriffs. I say there's no such thing as a good cop in America anymore, and I think that's all but fine to say. they're still bad. They're still good cops. I'll look right at the camera and say I find it hard to believe that some of you think you're out there. But just like anybody else, you're welcome to click the link in the description and say, CJ, I'm a good cop. And I would hear you out. And I would listen to you. And give you my whole screen. And say, all right, tell us about your good works. But like I said, I'm begging for that. I am begging for people to prove me wrong. I want my faith restored not only in this country, but its people. So with that being said, again, there's a story here, again, Lewis County out in there in Washington. Lewis County Sheriff on video telling crowd, quote, don't be a sheep about wearing face masks. Now, man, if there has ever been a time in our history where it is so fucking confusing to be alive, where every day you don't know what the fuck is about to happen or who's going to say what or who's coming out to go against who and what. Here's your county sheriff. They're trying to make mandatory masking happen all over this country in certain parts. And there are county sheriffs out there that are like, fuck that, fuck you. We're not going to line people up in jail cells and cages because they don't want to wear a mask, because they don't want to participate in this massive propaganda, brainwashing, social IQ test. That's all this is. Make no mistake about it. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the first ones in this country that called it a public IQ test. Nothing more or less. A public IQ test. And yes, a lot of people have failed. So hopefully this video will play here and we can get some audio and
crowd of people. He was referring to the governor's.
All right, so here we go.
Don't be a sheep. That is what Lewis County Sheriff told a crowd of people. He was referring to the governor's statewide mask mandate. Those comments causing controversy. And hello again, I'm Monique Minglaben.
I'm Steve Rabel. Cairo 7 South Sound reporter Kevin McCarty asked the sheriff to clarify what he meant.
The video is short. Lewis County Sheriff Robert Snaza doesn't really go into detail about what he means, so I came here to his office in Chehalis to ask him.
In case you guys didn't hear, Governor Inslee, in his infinite wisdom, has decided after over 100 and some odd days that we should all wear face masks inside and out. Here's what I say. Don't be a sheep.
The small crowd seemed pleased with Sheriff Robert Snaza's comments this week. Afterward, he shook hands, but no one wore a mask and there was no social distancing. Today, he went into more detail.
And when I said, don't be a sheep, it's mean you don't have to be a follower. It's okay to be a free thinker. It's okay to...
Look at this fucking sheep. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, you can't make this shit up, folks. Okay, I'd heard the story, but I didn't know that this guy was going to be in an interview in the next clip, literally saying, or literally wearing a face mask. After telling people they're trying to make you wear a mask inside and out, don't be a sheep. Man, sometimes the stupid is just it. It is what it is. It literally is what it is. The stupid is evident. We're gonna rewind this. Okay. Because you can't make this shit up. I need to finish my donut either way.
Short. Lewis County Sheriff Robert Snaza doesn't really go into detail about what he means, so I came here to his office in Chehalis to ask him.
In case you guys didn't hear, Governor Inslee, in his infinite wisdom, has decided after over 100 and some odd days that we should all wear face masks inside and out. Here's what I say. Don't be a sheep.
The small crowd seemed pleased with Sheriff Robert Snaza's comments this week. Afterward, he shook hands.
Wait
for it. No one wore a mask, and there was no social distancing.
Wait for it.
Today, he went into more detail.
And when I said,
while wearing a mask,
don't be a sheep, it's mean you don't have to be a follower. It's okay to be a free thinker. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to say, why?
Snaza, who wore a mask in our interview, says the comments weren't just about Governor Jay Inslee's order to wear protective face masks even when outside if social distancing isn't possible. He says it came after a wide-ranging conversation with the crowd that included discussion of the Hamilton Corner Uncle Sam sign just outside Chehalis that was recently the subject of an online petition to remove it and an attempt to burn it down, to the occupation of Capitol Hill in Seattle, known as CHOP.
And I just want them to know it's okay to speak up. It's okay to say how you feel. It's okay to say I support the First Amendment. It's okay to say I support the Second Amendment. And it's okay to say I don't like what's going on right now.
I support the First Amendment. I support the Second Amendment. And I certainly don't like what's going on right now.
I understand where he's coming from. He's saying science and data. But then to say outside in the environment, to just wear a mask every day walking down the sidewalk, I kind of have a disagreement with that.
Snaza says one of his major concerns is enforcement. The governor's order gives law enforcement the authority to act and cite people if they defy it and refuse to wear masks. Snaza says that could be difficult.
Now, we will investigate each complaint on a case-by-case basis, and we will do all the education we can. But that's as far as we're going to go.
At a news conference today, Governor Jay Inslee was
Really? So let's get this straight. Let's break this down. The sheriff that says the governor says we have to wear a mask indoor and out, don't be a sheep, is then seen on a video indoors wearing a mask. And then later in that same news clip video, here's the governor who's about to throw people in cages and violate their rights and sign and fine them. Here he is, not wearing a mask. You just can't make this kind of stupid up, folks.
Asked about the sheriff's comments.
Those who are wearing face masks because it is both the law and is safe, I just don't agree calling those folks somehow barnyard animals.
Lewis County has been in phase 3 of reopening for several days now, and when the governor's order takes effect on Friday, it's not clear if people here are going to obey it. In Chehalis, Kevin McCarty, Cover 7 News.
All right, so I've started this new thing where every time we're going to do a cop story as the main focus, I'm going to eat a donut. You can't make this kind of stupid up, folks. The sheriff's deputy, or the sheriff's department that's about to fine people, and most likely, again, remember, as we said, as Adam said yesterday on Adam versus the Man, and I highly recommend you guys tune in. Any flashing lights you see behind you, anytime you're interacting with a cop, that's an escalation of force that can lead up to and including your death. So now you're dealing with law enforcement that, when they come into you in their uniform, just in your presence, anything can, you could literally be dead within minutes or seconds. Now they have to go and say again, this is the sheriff that says, don't be a sheep while being seen being a sheep. And then later the governor seen in the same video, he's indoors, wearing a mask like a sheep. Indoors, wearing a mask like a sheep. The same governor that's going to fine you is indoors, not wearing a mask, spittling on all the microphones and everything, because they're above the law. I've been trying to tell people this. It's a class system, and it's not you and me. It's them versus us. This guy is just an enforcer. He is no different than, I would say, a rook on a chessboard. And the reason why I say a rook is they're uniformed. Pawns are the individual stupid people at the front of the lines that are, the first to move. I'd call them the rooks. In chess, I clean up rooks, or clean up pawns with rooks. That's a great strategy. Leave the cleaning of the rooks to the pawns to the rooks. Make no mistake about it. So, here's your beloved sheriff's deputy that said, "Don't be a sheep," being a sheep. Can't make up this kind of stupid.
Don't
Just to round off the story here one more time, just for those of you that might have missed it.
be a sheep. That is what Lewis County Sheriff told a crowd of people. He was referring to the governor's statewide mask mandate. Those comments causing controversy. And
what he means.
Here's what I say. Don't be a sheep.
The small crowd.
It's okay to be a free thinker. It's okay to.
You can't make that kind of shit up, man. Can't make that kind of shit up. So, all right, we're getting close to the end here. Just some stories that I've been following here. I want to make sure that this is, all right, we're not going to do Indiana. We're going to do it this way. Where did it go? Oh, come on. Forbes ain't going to work for me. All right, so, giant Sahara dust cloud reaches U.S. 2020 Godzilla version, bigger than before. And I went to this story here because it's or no, is it this one? It's not this one. I wanted just for the pictures here real quick because we all know what the dust storm is at this point if you've been following. Here we go. I wanted these pictures for the story here today. As you can see, the dust cloud here coming off of Africa. It's already reached South America. It's up to Gulf. And yes, I was at first in the first told that was that at best it would reach up to Missouri, maybe into Oklahoma and Texas, but there was a clear line at that Missouri River where it would dissipate more. And it turns out that is wrong. It's going to blow all over from coast to coast, from north to south. Every part of the U.S. will have a little African dust coming. By the weekend, the dust will continue to move northward and impact the Indianapolis area by Saturday afternoon. As you can see, we are going to see it here in the great state of Meth Dakota. You know, Meth Dakota, it's the state just south here. I guess, why am I doing it here on this little screen here? You know Meth Dakota, it's the state just south of North Dakota, that Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota. So you can see Sioux Falls is going to get it real good. So just know that you're going to have milky looking skies, poor air quality, maybe a good reason to wear a mask. You know, don't be a sheep. You can free think for yourself. So just our ongoing Sahara giant dust cloud. All right, another quick update here as we go through our updates. Ex-officer who fatally shot Rayshard Brooks shot a suspect 3 times in 2015 and was concerned he'd face charges. So, you know, I don't know. For some reason, again, these stories just don't want to play for me. I don't.
So these are the charges that we have had filed today, signed by one of our Superior Court judges. These are the 11 charges against Officer Roth. The first charge is felony murder. This is a as a result of a underlying felony, and in this case, the underlying felony is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and the possible sentences for a felony murder conviction would be life without parole, or the death penalty. Now, he's also charged by...
Now, for those of you that don't know on this story here with Rayshard Brooks, the man was not murdered by a law enforcement officer. I believe it was complete self-defense based on the man you hear talking. The district attorney's own words were a taser is a lethal weapon. And then just after Rayshard Brooks was shooting, he said a taser wasn't a lethal weapon. So which one of them is lying, him or him? I'm going to go with not guilty, exonerated, self-defense. Again, CJ defending a cop? What the fuck is going on here? No, CJ defending the due process rights of everyone, regardless of their title. Ugh. Stupid people. So we're going to follow that again closely. I would expect there to be a lot of backlash from this. So All right, another little quick story here that we're going to start looking into here, maybe possibly, is fired Miami police officer charged for putting knee on black woman's neck. I didn't see any evidence here to look at, so we're not going to dive into the story unless there's pictures or videos. We have to be able to make informed decisions here based on all information available, not just the headline. So, here's another fun one for you guys. Just a real quick headliner. Now Donald Trump's entire campaign staff at disastrous Tulsa rally are in quarantine over fear of contact with 8 who already tested positive, for coronavirus. Staff are being asked to work remotely. Secret Service agents who work the president's rally have been ordered to self-quarantine. White House dismissed concerns that the health risks. Attendees were asked to sign a waiver to attend, and only 6,200 turned up for the 19,000 seat venue. 6 campaign staff tested positive before the event. 2 staffers who worked there later tested positive. These staff members attended the rally but were wearing masks during the entire event. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheep. Oh, man, so let's see. I didn't miss anything, did I? I don't think I missed anything. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for today. It's really sad. I like I said, going into the weekend here, I would encourage anybody that watches this ex post facto, or I'd even appreciate it if you know of groups that would hear my speech that say they love the Constitution. They say they are defenders of free speech. I would ask you to throw my video in their group and say, hey, this guy is desperately begging for people to come in to debate him. It's good practice for me. I have to debate a Republican. Well, I still haven't heard back from Brian Breitling yet. The man, he still hasn't, said he'll debate me publicly and allow people to hear us have a conversation about diversity of ideas and principles and fundamental beliefs on the Constitution and what we would actually do for the 27,500 people of District 23 here in South Dakota. But I would hope that at some point he would even come on here and have a cup of coffee and a conversation with me. And if that doesn't tell you I'm like the most open guy in the world to have a conversation with, I don't know what does. I welcome the conflict in conversation, as long as we give each other kindness, courtesy, dignity, and respect we're shown. That's how I operate. So, I'll tell you what. Don't be a sheep, folks. But I will say this. I can't wait for the day that I can wear my mask in public and not be stigmatized. And nobody can discriminate against my mask. Huh? Use it as my free speech. I think we should all be able to wear our own masks if we want to. We shouldn't be forced to. Imagine if I said all of you are required to wear this mask right here. Do you know how many people would freak out? Do you know how many people would get angry, upset, pissed off, and mad? So, I'll give it a minute here. If anybody's got any last minute comments they want thrown on the screen, talked about, that's fine going into the weekend. I did a little longer show running off. I want to do 8:30 to 10. I'm about to open up the Digital Studio Freedom for Adam versus the Man. So if you haven't already checked out that show, I please encourage you to do so. Adam's a lot nicer than I am, honestly. More articulate for sure. A lot kinder in his conversation. I'm sure he's got it in there. I'm sure he's got a little warlord in there somewhere. Which reminds me, before I get going, that eventually you guys aren't going to be able to watch me live anymore here on Facebook or YouTube, because I'm moving to a new home, and that is going to be over on Patreon. So, hang on. There we go. I just, what really gets my attention here on Patreon is that you have to be 18 or older just to look at my content, which I think is going to alleviate that stupid issue that I see other people having. Which is another reason for censorship, is because kids can watch your content. This requires you to have a credit card, This requires you to verify your age. So, or a debit card or whatever transaction you want to pay, PayPal, whatever. That they verify your age, that you're 18 or older to watch it. And then when you click it, you can see that we have 3 packages here, $5, $10, $20. For just $5, you can call yourself a little warlord. You help support this broadcast. You'll be able to watch the live feed. You'll be able to see the live chat. And you'll have access to me and access to the episodes, because once I'm done recording them, I'll put them up ex post facto where people can watch it, but you can't comment, can't participate. You're not on the screen. You won't have the link to join, any of this stuff. For $10 a month, you're going to get a little bit more. You're going to get bonus episodes. You're going to get content that people don't get to see, a little behind the scenes, a little bit of me being a little bit more CJ than I'm allowed to be right now on these social media censorship platforms. And, ad-free episodes, as well as, a private community. I'm going to have a little group built out where you can reach me, and I'm going to check it every day. And if you need to join the show or anything like that, you're going to be able to do that as well. And then for $20 a month, you can call yourself you can call yourself an internet warlord, And that is you giving me as much support as you can possibly give. I'm grateful for every bit of help. I've already have a few patrons that have pledged to contribute, and I'm so grateful for that. I appreciate it more than you know. You're gonna get, once the merchandise starts to come back online, you'll get discounts. You're gonna get voting power, which is gonna be one that I'm really, really looking forward to utilizing in the future, as well as requests. So you're gonna be able to send me, hey CJ, here's this news article. I want you to cover that today. Let me get your thoughts on that. So, and then live Q&As, meaning you're going to have access to be able to ask me anything. And that's just going to be the world that we live in moving forward once we get past the 2020 rigged election. So that's patreon.com/internet warlords. The link is in the description. And once, like I said, this rigged election is over here in 2020, you will never be seeing me live on Facebook or YouTube again. I think Patreon uses YouTube as its live, platform to go through, but it's not live to YouTube. So, yeah, after November, that's it. Goodbye, Facebook. Goodbye, YouTube. I don't get paid for this anyways. This is just me believing that while running for public office, my speech should be public. My logic and reasoning and rationale should be in full context. I put these shows together. I look up the stories. I think about how I want to push forward my message on any given story and how it relates to my beliefs and the libertarian values that I have. And like I said, this platform is for everybody that is a supporter of mine. I want you to know that. If you support me, I support you. That this platform is just as much yours as it is mine. So, and you shouldn't be afraid to speak freely, as the sheriff sheep out there said. You shouldn't be afraid to say, I support the First Amendment, I support the Second Amendment, and I don't like what's going on. And I will agree with him on that. So, without seeing any comments there to go, again, I'm begging. I wish I would get troll comments. Oh, I wish I would. So badly. So badly. See, I watch people that have big numbers. I'm not going to say any names, but they have big numbers, and some people react differently. They get all upset. They can't handle it. They just go off, and I get it. But I welcome it. I don't have those big mega numbers that other people have. But again, I wouldn't change it for the world. You guys, it's the weekend. Have a good weekend or don't. The choice is always yours. God, when will this stupid end?